What it is, what it do. I'm A1, this is the Division, and in today's video, I'm going to be explaining the method that we use to beat the Clear Sky Incursion on challenging difficulty. Now, the build that I used in this playthrough was the 4 tactician pieces with 2 final measure pieces. I also had 30,000 skill power, which as we know can increase up to 60,000 because I'm using the 4 tactician pieces. I also had 450,000 toughness with 75% armor mitigation, and I believe my DPS was somewhere around 150,000. But in order to use the method that I'm going to go over, you're going to want at least 2 or 3 people to use a tanky skill build like the one I just mentioned. But yeah, when it comes to toughness, I would definitely recommend that you have somewhere between 4 and 500,000 toughness. Alright, so the challenging Clear Sky Incursion is very similar to the hard Clear Sky Incursion, with a few exceptions, the main one being that the enemies are going to be level 34 instead of level 32, and they're all going to be elite enemies, or the enemies with the yellow health bar. So with that being said, when it comes to this first part, the objectives are the exact same as on hard difficulty. The first thing you're going to have to do is kill a bunch of enemies, and then some more enemies are going to spawn, and one of those enemies will be carrying a bomb, and you'll know which one's carrying the bomb because he's going to have this little orange diamond on top of him. So once the enemy that's carrying the bomb spawns, you want everybody in your group to go ahead and focus fire on him, and once you all have killed him, you'll see that he drops the bomb and there'll be a little yellow beam of light illuminating from it. All you have to do from there is just walk over to the bomb, run to the blockade where you have to plant the bomb, and then once you plant it, you want to go ahead and move back to where your teammates are. And the location of your teammates kind of depends. If you're able to kill the enemies really quickly, you can stay towards the middle of the street, but if they start rushing you and you start getting outnumbered really quickly, then all you have to do is just fall back, retreat a little bit, and then start shooting at the enemies again. Anyways, after you planted the first bomb, more enemies will spawn and you will have to take them out. I believe there's a couple heavies, a couple shotgunners, and some other enemies. And after you take out those enemies, another enemy will spawn that has the little orange diamond above his head, meaning that he's carrying a bomb. And once you all kill him, you want to run over his dead body to pick up the bomb and then place the bomb on the blockade. And once you've placed 2 bombs on the blockade, it's going to end up opening. And I believe the next objective says something like kill all of the enemies or something like that. You want to go ahead and ignore that. Just run straight through the blockade to the next checkpoint. Even if one of your teammates die, just go ahead and run to the next checkpoint, because as soon as you get to that checkpoint, all of your teammates will respawn at that checkpoint. Alright, so for this next part, I've tried a few different methods over the past couple days, and the method I'm about to show you is without a doubt the easiest method that I've come across. Alright, so you're going to want 3 people with a tanky skill power build to run over to this left side and then jump into Columbus Circle and then run along the left side of the map until they get to this little building here next to the subway. And when you get to this building, you're going to want to jump on top of it and hide behind cover. Now, while those 3 people are on top of the building, they're going to be spamming their first aid with the overdose mod, and they're also going to be using their smart cover as well. And I believe I was using a mod that reduces the cooldown time for your skills. And another thing I should mention is that you should probably also use the triage talent. That way your first aid skill helps reduce the cooldown time of your smart cover, and your smart cover is going to reduce the cooldown time for your first aid. So the 3 people on top of that little building are going to be spamming their first aid and their smart cover, and they're going to be focusing primarily on the big guys, the shotgunners, and the snipers. It's also important to note that the mortar rounds can hit you from here, which is why it's important that you have at least 2 people with high skill power using the smart covers, because the smart covers and the first aid with overheal with high skill power can protect you from those mortars. Anyways, those 3 people on top of the roof are going to stay there for the rest of the incursion. Now, as for the 4th person, he's going to be hanging out near the entrance while the other 3 people are running to the roof. And once those 3 people make it to the roof, he can go ahead and start doing the objectives. Now, the objectives are the exact same as Clear Sky on hard difficulty, but he should still have a tanky build because he can still get shot. But basically what he's going to do, he's either going to go to the left or the right side. He's eventually going to have to go to both, and I don't believe it really matters which one you go to first. But once he goes to one of the sides, he's going to pick up the fuse box and then place the fuse box in the little power generator that's located in the middle. And I know you're supposed to access the laptop first, but it is possible to pick up the fuse boxes first as well. Anyways, if the 3 people on the roof are shooting at the enemies, then there will hardly be any enemies shooting at the 4th person, so he should be able to pick up the fuse boxes rather easily. I also recommend that the person who's picking up the fuse boxes use the first aid skill with the overdose mod. So if he does get shot while he's moving the fuse boxes, he can just use his first aid. But chances are he won't get shot that much because most of the enemies will be focusing on the 3 people who are on top of the roof. Anyways, after that person has planted both fuse boxes, he'll have to go back to the computer, and once he does that, the final boss will spawn. Now what I would recommend doing at this point is to have the person who was moving the fuse boxes to go ahead and move to the right side, somewhere near where the fuse box was located. And once the final boss spawns, he's going to try to shoot the final boss in his backpack in order to take away some of his armor and health. And again, he won't have that many enemies shooting at him, so he should be able to shoot the final boss without getting shot at himself. But he should still try to use cover when he's over there. And while he's shooting at the final boss, the other 3 people are also going to try to shoot at the final boss. But it is going to be a little bit harder for them to shoot him because he does have a shield. And again, they should still be spamming their first aid and their smart cover skills. But yeah, they should also try to shoot at the final boss whenever they get the opportunity to do so. Anyways, at this point, you should be able to kill the final boss rather easily if you use this method. But yeah, one of the main reasons why I really like this method is because you don't need to like coordinate your alts or anything like that. You can basically use your alt whenever you feel the need to. Anyways, that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, don't forget to do what you do. I'm A1. Thanks for watching.